What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own review of Love Marriage Huntsville, y'all. This episode, whew, I feel bad for Tisha. I did, but then another part of me was like, well, Tisha, you did not want to show anyone else any sympathy and empathy for what they were navigating through their relationship. You were on the other end smiling and giggling, enjoying the pain they were going through. So watching your husband, who has had the same conversation with you since season 1, I don't know what to say to this. I mean, knowing that they got renewed for a new season and still seeing them showcase that they're back together, this is just another time where they really like to pretend that they don't talk about their problems. They like to pretend like they don't got issues. But then they look at everybody else and want everyone else to address the real. Be transparent. Kimmy, you know what? We're going to get to that. All right? So we are continuing with Martel checking Maurice about his DUI. No matter how Maurice tries to explain it by saying it got dismissed, the point of the matter is you were drinking and driving. That is the end of the conversation. Then you got Kimmy over here in her confessional talking about, see, I told Maurice that if Martel decides to act out, then that's Maurice's problem. That's on him to fix it. No, Kimmy, you wanted this to happen because you did not have to bring up how Martel don't stay positive, Martel be talking, Martel be negative. You didn't have to say anything. You did not have to mention how Martel laughed at your husband's story, how he hit a tree, hit a pole, hit an animal. Like, you set him off because you knew you wanted to set him off just so you could be like, I told you so. No, bitch, no. You put your own husband in the mix. You threw your own husband under the bus of the shit that he got going on. And you want to blame Martel? No, girl, no. No. And it's so funny to me, though, Kimmy, how you set this up for us to look at Martel like he's the problem. He's been the problem. When you've been saying since season 1, he's been the good guy. Oh, Martel's such a good guy. He don't really be meaning that. That's not how he is. That's the stupid shit you said. But now since the tables have turned and now he is outing your shit out, now he's not a good guy. Now he's a troublemaker. Now he's a problem. Now he's the reason why you didn't want him to be a part of this trip. No, fuck you, Kimmy. Keep that same fucking energy. Whew. Anyway, we're trying to get everyone settled and calm, right? And they trying to make it seem as if Martel shouldn't have said something that could have offended Maurice. If he wouldn't have told that stupid ass story that made everybody fucking laugh, we wouldn't be here. So I don't think that Martel deserves any kind of flack right here. I'm sorry. Y'all got me defending Martel. Like, Martel really was minding his own business. He hasn't said nothing. He has been enjoying the trip. He's thankful he was invited on the trip. And as soon as you set him off by saying it's his fault because he laughed at your story, he's like, nigga, don't push me because I didn't do shit to you. Now, we can literally see Martel. He's breathing. He's trying to calm down. And he is literally getting gaslit when it came to Kimmy and Maurice coming at him. And they're trying to calm him down and say, we are going to calm down. You in your mind, you in your mind. And when it came down to everybody trying to get Martel to calm down and let Maurice talk, you hear Nell say, let him talk. And then Martel looked at Nell and said, now shut the fuck up talking to me. And that's when Destiny yanked Martel's hoodie and said, who you talking to? Pause on the play. I loved that she checked Martel because you know how protective she is of Nell. That's her friend. So she wouldn't want nobody to disrespect her. So I applaud Destiny for reacting in that moment of hearing a man disrespect another woman. Even though she shouldn't have touched him, keep your hands to yourself. But I appreciate that. And Chris, where was your antenna, sir? Do you not see that this man is yelling at your wife? What's up, Chris? I don't like that. So I can tell that Martel was visibly frustrated about how Maurice is saying how wrong he was for laughing about his DUI. And I'm like, Maurice, shut the fuck up. Now he wants to check Martel about how he told Nell to shut the fuck up. Don't try to switch it now, Maurice. Don't try to switch it. This is not about pointing finger at Martel about how he's out of control. This is about you. This is about you repeating a stupid story that everybody fucking laughed, but you're only directing your energy towards him. Where's the energy with everybody else when they all laughed at your story? Look at your wife who let you have this confrontation. She put you in the fire for this. And Maurice, you're mad that no one is believing your lies, believing your story, because you and Kimmy have already changed your story from the time that it happened to the time that it's being brought up now. Because I don't know why Kimmy brought that up. Only because we know y'all never really cleared things up with the DUI. That's why. So you were afraid that if Martel said something, he would have revealed more. And that's why you didn't want him to come. But you opened that door, Kimmy. You poked the bear. So Nell is saying in her confessional that Martel is doing the most. He's yelling and screaming. And I really wish that you, Chris, would be my husband and not be his damn friend. And here he goes. Well, that's just Martel. You know how Martel is. You know, he's like a child. He's going to go up and he's going to come down. That's bullshit, Chris. I don't care. Martel should never be in a position to yell at nobody, not another woman, not ever in life. We have seen him yell at women before. And no one has said anything. No one has done anything. Fuck you, Chris. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. All right? So you got Marsau being the voice of reason, trying to calm Martel down, trying to calm Maurice down, and we're just going to table this. Both of them are highly emotional for two different reasons. And to say that this trip wasn't about reaction, this was about trying to move on. But Kimmy, you brought this up. You brought up all of this. You were in exciting drama from the time you made this trip. The shit you did with Destiny and Tisha, the same shit you did with Maurice and Martel. You started all this shit. So it's thanks to Kimmy. Moving on, we're in the next morning. Everyone is separated. Everyone is taking their own, explore around the woods and everything. And everyone is saying that Kimmy picked the fight with Martel that night, okay? Chris is saying to Martel that Nell is mad at you because you got to stop arguing and you got to stop yelling at her. And this isn't the first time that Martel has yelled at Nell. He's yelled at Nell before and no one else stopped him from doing that. And he didn't like that Destiny yanked him. Well, you were being disrespectful, okay? So he is talking about how he got into it with Maurice about how he was being called a liar. And it's not even him. He said it's the fact that Kimmy brought something to me. And she didn't like what I said. So if you felt the way about what I said, then tell your husband to come to me. Don't come to me. Which I got to agree with Martel. Because if you felt the way about what was said, Kimmy, then direct Maurice to fix it like you directed him to fix the problem with your Jordan Lane restaurant not being done by Marsau. So Chris said, maybe it's a Scott thing. How these women tend to think they can check other men about what's been said about their husbands. Which I do agree because remember early in the season, Tisha thought she could confront Chris about what he said about the NDA, even though it was already squashed, but she had no business walking up on another woman's husband. Oh my God. So then we got Marsau and Tisha. They are talking again about how Kimmy expressed she didn't like that Martel was laughing at Maurice, and that is something we should have never allowed. But y'all all laughed too. Do we not recall how y'all were discussing his whole situation? Y'all was laughing at his situation. So because he got disrespected, that means that Maurice can disrespect Martel. And I had heard that there were more things being said at that dinner table, but it got cut out. But I do appreciate Marsau saying, no, it wasn't as if Martel was laughing about him getting in an accident and all that stuff. It was about the story he told. That's why he laughed. And again, are we missing something? The story he told was funny. You got to let that go, Kimmy. It's more to the story that you don't want to discuss, but you want everybody to just be respectful that he got into an accident. Well, if he got into an accident and say he got a concussion, then why the hell was he back at Black the next day? That still don't make no sense. There's a lot of holes in that story, Kimmy. Moving on from there. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. There were more than that, right? I think there was more to this conversation between Tisha and Marsau. It was about how Tisha discussing where she is with Destiny. She misses her friendship with Destiny, but then she wants to turn around as if Destiny was trying to attack her on the boat or fight her. Excuse me. No, she wasn't. She was just calling you out for your bullshit. That's what she was doing. And then she also wants to say that when it comes to her and Kimmy, we don't always gang up on people. We're not the type to gang up on people. Are you for real right now? You have gained up on people. You've gained up on Destiny this season. You gained up on Nell this season. You gained up on Mel the seasons prior. You guys have gained up on people before, Tisha. Yes, y'all have. So then Marsau is telling her, listen, if you want to cross that bridge, make sure you're prepared when you cross that bridge. But when it comes to holding your feelings and knowing your feelings are valid, you have to give room for other people's feelings are valid as well. And when you are giving apologies, don't expect one back to you. It's almost in that same conversation that Tisha thinks that everything can be swept under the bridge if she got an apology and we can just move on. But if she gives an apology, then that means she's owed one too. You are not going to receive an apology unless you explain why you deserve one. Other than that, you're going to be the only one giving apologies because you are the only one who has done things to have hurt other people. No one else has done nothing to you but respond to the shit you've been saying. Moving on. Destiny and Will, they have a conversation. They call out Kimmy, how Kimmy was the one who started it. Destiny said that the Scotts are great deflectors and great gaslighters. They are very good trying to present an alternative reality about something that is totally different than what we're seeing right in front of our faces. I appreciate that, Destiny. I am very happy and proud that you are now literally seeing what we've been seeing all these years on this show about how the Scotts are gaslighters and deflectors. They never like to resolve things that are happening in the moment. They like to present a different story as if what was said wasn't what said, what was shown wasn't was shown. It was something totally different that we're making up stuff. Fuck no. Fuck no, fuck no, fuck no. That's why Kimmy and Tisha are living in land of milk and cookies. They like to present a whole different reality to carry out their delusions towards one another. Moving on. Yeah, I already said the gang up part because it was right here at this moment. So Will tells Destiny that she likes to debate. She said, I was on the debate team, but I don't think I'm that combative. I'm direct. And then he talks about how maybe it could be under the influence of drinking. And she said, no, I have been this way even without being under the influence of alcohol. I have paid attention to Destiny on this show. Have I said she was aggressive? I have said that. Have I said she can be combative? I have said that. But when it comes to this season on how the ladies, Tisha and Kimmy, have definitely been playing in her face and she's calling it out right in that moment, that's just pretty much saying, don't play with me. I'm not the one to be playing with, okay? You're not going to make me out to be the problem when I know you've been the problem, okay? And Will, I really don't like the way you're trying to make it as if she don't know how to hold her liquor, like she's a whole different kind of person when she drinks. Who else isn't? But I don't like the way you're trying to come at Destiny for her like this. I don't really like that. And when it comes to explaining her story with what she's been dealing with Tisha, it's like I have apologized for things I shouldn't have having to apologize for. And you coming at me? I ain't got time for this shit, okay? So Maurice and Marsau, they sit down and he wants to remind Maurice who he is. Are you a Scott or are you not a Scott? Shit, fuck you. Neither one of y'all can control y'all anger and y'all reaction to things. None of y'all can talk about how you need to remind yourself about who you are. Fuck you. Saying how I should not have come out in that way. I shouldn't have did that. Martel should not have gotten me out of character. No, you got yourself out of character because folks was laughing at you because they didn't believe your stupid ass story. Martel was just an easy person to go after because we can see how loud and how uncontrollable he can be. So, bullshit, Maurice. So then, we get into the conversation about how Marsau isn't sure how he wants to move into this new space with Tisha because he says she wants to fight for an identity other than being my wife. What's wrong with just being my wife? Marsau, that is the wrong statement to say. Need I recall the moment that... No, I'm sorry. Like, why would you even say that, Marsau? What's wrong with just being my wife? What isn't wrong with just being your wife? If she's not receiving any appreciation just being your wife, why should she only want that under her name? Why shouldn't she fight for her own identity outside of being your wife, outside of being the mother of your children? Why shouldn't she create an identity for herself, create some independency for herself? Why shouldn't she? She should. The fuck? So then he can recall the moment that he knew that Tisha was his wife for life. He was working on something. She noticed some things, added to some things, and it's like, oh, so you complete me. But now he's looking at the last few years of the marriage, and it is way different. Because now she wants to be part of the conversations of doing all these projects. But then when I want her included, she says, oh, I can't do it because I have PTA. Oh, I also need you to build my office. Oh, I need you to build my dream house. So he's saying, I'm hearing a bunch of I, but I'm not hearing the we. Well, to be honest with you, Marsau, you've never been a we with Tisha. You've always been you. You have always made these decisions and have never included her in any of them. Now she's trying to invite herself into the fold of being in the same space with you and navigating these businesses with you, but at the same time she is still trying to figure out how to be present with her children, and I don't think you're giving her any real support in that, because we know that Tisha has definitely battled with trying to be an entrepreneur and a wife and a mother, and she really don't have the capacity of learning how to do all those things. But who hasn't been supporting her? Her husband. You can't feel a way that while she's trying to be present with her children, while she still can be until they're grown and out the house, that it's not on your time that she wants to work with you in the office. You can't feel away with that. Hell, she's the only one doing it for the kids. She is the only active parent who is caring about being there for her children. Have you been there for your children? You know what? I'm going to hold my thoughts on that, because I'm going to get on your ass about that when we get to your conversation later. But that's all I'm going to say right there. So he's talking about how if I wanted to be alone, I never would have gotten married. I wanted to be in the space with a life partner, not a business partner. You know what? At this point, I'm just going off about what he said to Mel first season. He really meant that he did not want Mel to invite Tisha out for her to network, for her to connect, for her to see there's life outside of being a wife and a mother. He did not want that. He really did not want Mel to guide her on how to properly balance on being a wife, a mother, and a businesswoman. Wow. To say I don't want to be on some power couple shit, it sounds to me you really didn't want to be on some power couple shit, because you don't include your wife in nothing, but you expect for her to go along with your decisions that's supposed to be the benefit of both you and her. It's supposed to be the benefit of your family, and yet you don't invite her to things. You don't include her in things. Like, wow, Marsau. So he is also going off about how he wants her to listen, and he is trying to guide them into a better space, but she wants to take over. She wants to do it herself, and then to say, I don't know how to fit in. But you're not teaching your wife on how to be in. You're not teaching her how to be this person. Do y'all remember? I forgot what season was that, when they took their anniversary trip to Vegas. Marsau said he used to worship the ground that Tisha walked on. But for the past few years, she has lost herself. She has lost that confidence. He doesn't understand why. What do you mean you don't understand why? The past few years, Tisha has dealt with so much embarrassment and so much doubt in her marriage based on the things you have not cleared up, based on the space you have not provided her in. So of course she lost herself. Of course she lost that self-confidence. You have been the reason why. You have not been uplifting your wife, supporting your wife in anything she wants to do. And then he said, for the last 14 years, my words have been something that you should have been, trusting of. You know what I'm saying? These hands have built a lot. But you've been promising how these hands have been doing a lot, but you still ain't completed nothing. You still got the damn house. You still got her office. You completed Black. I heard you complete the White Hall project, but what else have you done? What are these hands worth for, Marsau? These hands ain't done shit. So then they want to test to see if someone loves you enough. Maybe ask her this kind of question. Ask her how much it would be to buy her out of the business. Because he tried to buy Kimmy out of the business. She said, fuck no. Why would that be a question to ask? Why are you trying to test and see if she's going to fight to be part of the relationship if she'll allow for you to buy her out of the business? What sense does that make? I did not know you need to test your loyalty or test your love of someone to buy them out of a company. A company you started together as husband and wife. That makes no fucking sense. Moving on. So we got Destiny and Will. She drops off Will to talk to Ken. Will ask Ken, how do you feel about the guys trying to see if you should react to Trish spin the block? Why did the guys feel like they needed to test to see if you're going to react in a way of hearing that? Why did they do that? Because they wanted me to see what I would do if it's something that they would do. So they wanted to test me if I was going to have a crazy reaction, find out that she spun the block on me. Because it's easy for someone to say, I will never do that, I will never accept that, but will these men ever really have that energy to showcase that kind of action? Because hearing all three of them, majority of the Scots talk about how if a man uses my toothbrush, I'm out the house. If a woman did this to me, I'm out the house. So, let me clear that part. Wait. Particularly the Scots, who reacted in such a way if another woman was to ever treat them the way that they treated them. Maurice compared Kimmy to a toothbrush. Marsau says we're not going to do the double standard thing. Like, these men, I don't know. Do you think these men will ever react in an out crazy way if they found out that their wives had cheated on them? Because, again, y'all act like y'all ain't got nothing going on. Y'all act like y'all don't deal with y'all own set of problems. So would y'all have a crazy reaction if you found out that your wife had cheated on you before? The same way y'all wanted Ken to go up and down, cuss Trish out, have a crazy reaction of finding out that she spun the block on him when he did his own dirt as well? Make it make sense. Do I think that they would? I think that they will keep their wives guessing as to what they might be doing. But I feel like if they ever was to make that thought of messing around on them, they will make their lives living hell. I feel like they'll make their lives a living hell. They will punish them until no end if they ever was to think about messing around on them. That's what I believe. So Ken is talking about how Trish was feeling the night before. They got a lot of sleep, but her going through a divorce, wondering did you really make the right decision? Did you do your part? And how the relationship didn't work out. Just try to fix it. But he said it's going to work out better in the future. So we'll ask him, do you think that you're going to stick around? It's the same old. He said that when we're good, we're good. We could be great. I love her. I'm in love with her. We just got to see where things takes us. Whatever. Y'all not together right now. Because you were not trying to be the man for her, Ken. And now that she has finally gone through with the divorce, I feel like you want something else out of her and she's still not going to give to you. Will was asked, where does he see things with Destiny? He said, that's my homegirl. You know what I'm saying? She's fun to hang around. She's cool. But he said, my mind might change due to the fact of the way she acted the other night. She lost control of herself when she was drinking. She was aggressive with Martel. And I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want to deal with that. Nigga, Destiny don't want to deal with you. Because you tried to convince her that she should agree with the polygamy lifestyle to be with you because you have 4 kids by 4 different women and you don't see yourself getting married. You don't see yourself settling down with just one person. So fucking miss me. I hated the way that they talked about Destiny in this way. Like she is a totally different person. They say, is she a feminist? I mean, she says she's a girl's girl, but she don't act like that when she's around girls. It's like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, these niggas ain't shit. For them to talk down on a female. Because at the end of the day, y'all couldn't handle a woman like Destiny, okay? Because she will keep you on your toes. She will tell you exactly what it is. She'll keep it a buck. And y'all don't want that. Y'all want a submissive woman who is just going to accept the way that you treat her. Always want to worship the ground you walk on. And that is not Destiny. And that's not any other woman, okay? So fuck out of here with Ken and Will. Bye, 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 bye. Toxic ass niggas. So then we got Maurice. Maurice decides to have a team building exercise with all the fellas. And this was Kimmy's idea, obviously, because she wants to see Maurice use his hands, okay? Because remember, earlier in the season, she used to get so turned on by him when he was building things. Because he's in his soft hands era. Whatever. So we have one team, Will, Chris, and Ken. And then we got the 3 M's. They're building picnic tables, and there are no instructions. This should be interesting. It was nice to see the men build things, and honestly, to see the way that Maurice, Marsau, and Martel, not bonded, but blended together so well with discussing about what part goes where. This goes here, this boat needs here. It was actually really nice to see. I ain't gonna hold you. And then Kimmy just had to come in and oversee the fellas because she loves to see the men work, building a sweat, getting turned on. It's like, girl, go away. Go away. Like, girl, you cannot be like this dry in the puss because your husband doesn't use his hands. It's Kimmy so fucking male-identified, I can't take it. And here's my thing. Wait, let me finish this part. So the men did the job. The men fixed both tables. Now, of course, she didn't want to be the one to make the decision about who won. So she brought the general manager to come in to inspect the table. And The 3M's were the winners, but I still give a shout out to Chris, Ken, and Will. They did their part, and it just goes to show you, y'all don't got no lazy men right here. When it comes to building things, they will put in the work, okay? But back to my, aha moment. Why did Kimmy not think of a team building exercise for the women? Why didn't she come up with something like this? It could have been something that the women could have bonded together and fixed together. How come she didn't think for the women to do some team building exercise? Oh, because she's a pick-me. That's why. Her only concern is to get the men together because she enjoys when the men are good, but she doesn't enjoy when the women are good. Okay, got it, Kimmy. That is the most important thing in the world, is to make sure the men are taken care of, not the women. Bitch, fuck you. So we are at dinner. And then Kimmy and Maurice want to act like they did a very good job with preparing this trip, and we didn't have nobody storm off and leave. That is slight to what happened at the St. Thomas trip. When Trish left, Stormy left, but girl, let's not act like you took part as to why that trip went sour or certain parts of that trip went sour. Let's not, Kimmy. Fuck you. Anyway, she opens up the conversation about how we can all learn from other people who aren't in relationships, single people who've been together for a while. We have 30 years of marriage here. We got 20 years of marriage. We now have 7 years of marriage, and it hasn't been easy, and it's all blah, 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 Kimmy. You guys don't discuss the shit that y'all got going on, so there is no way in hell I will ever reflect on y'all's relationship and wonder, oh, I guess I could take advice from them. Fuck no. The only couple I would take somewhat advice from is Nell and Fletcher, because we know that they've been through a lot in their relationship. They have over 30 years. You and Maurice, fuck no. You and Marsau and Tisha, fuck no. And we all know we can't take no advice from Martel. Fuck no. I would not care. No. No. Anyway, we talk about Ken and Trish, right? They're the single couple in this group. And as far as recognizing the part they played about being in a not so good space, they have both entertained other people. They realized it wasn't worth it, but they're back together, and she is now divorced. Now Trish is happy because she was so solemn and gloom the day before. Now she's happy to say she's divorced. Girl, please. So, Ken said, for the last couple of months, while me and her have been in a good space, we have not received good advice on how we should move on in our relationship. Our relationship has been tested. Our relationship has been talked about. People have said to me that I should leave Trish, wonder why I'm allowing this. We're not even married yet. Why am I going through all of this? It's the truth, though. How the hell y'all going to welcome someone into the group and they're dealing with problems in their relationship and y'all not being actual friends and giving real advice on how they should figure things out? They should hear the other person out. No, y'all were too busy pointing the finger at what they got going on and how they got together, and whose fault is this and whose fault is that, and how dare you allow this, and why shouldn't she be doing this? Even though, Ken, I gotta call you out for it. The way that you guys entered y'all's relationship wasn't on good intentions anyway. You got involved with a woman who was still legally married, and you fought through the dickens and try to prove you were the better man, and threatened to leave when you didn't get the reaction you wanted. So while, yes, the group definitely holds some responsibility on not really being kind and genuine and actually wanting your relationship to get better, but look at what you opened up the show with. You know what I'm saying? So, explaining how folks haven't been on board with his relationship with Trish. This is when Tisha decides to apologize to Ken for bringing up the DM situation because she didn't have all the facts. And when she tells Trish about it, it was just to have a girlfriend-to-girlfriend conversation. It wasn't to start anything. Excuse me. I don't believe Tisha. No, I don't. I feel like she was way too eager to want to tell someone else about what she heard about their relationship when there have been plenty of opportunities for other people to let her know about her relationship, but she projected it on them hurting her. She projected on them trying to hurt her marriage, and we're supposed to be respecting other people's relationship, and relationships are off limits and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah. I don't know, because I feel like you don't even know how to properly approach a conversation that's very sensitive when people try to do it to you and you get mad at them. And this is when Ken said, okay, I appreciate that. And as far as Ken saying, I have also heard things about your husband as well. Then Tisha want to say, well, I don't expect you to tell me about it. Tell him about it. He said, well, I'm not going to do that, though, because I'm not going to bring up anything that I don't believe is true or I don't know to be true. I think it's just hearsay. So I am not going to even open that door. So left it there. But then here go Tisha. So what have you heard about my husband? Huh? No, I'm just saying, what have you heard about him? When we just heard you say, don't tell your husband, and you're still trying to badger and expect for someone to let you know what's been said about your husband. So then Ken said, I mean, the same things you've heard. And then she wants to act dumb and stupid like she don't know what's been said. So she said, what have you heard? Okay, well, listen, the rumors about Black. The after parties, the back room situation. The Scott's brothers been known to have their own little ditty parties, as they say. The way that I screamed watching that go down, I was like, is this what we doing? We are really talking about this right now. Do you not know how long that rumor has been circling around for a while now? A while now. And that this got out like this? Tisha, this is what happens when you ask for information and it falls into your lap. And what do you do? What do? You get mad that the information was presented to you when you asked for it. So then Marsau gets mad at Tisha. He said, Tisha, stop begging for information. She said, I wasn't begging. Yes, you were. You were going back and forth with Ken on trying to put him on the spot to talk about what he knows about your husband. Why would you do that? And he was so mad because he even called her out by saying, you've already admitted that we've already dealt with problems in our relationship because of what's been said about us. Now you want to add more information that could damage it even more? Why would you be doing that? Now, here's my thing, Marsau. While you're mad at her, be mad at yourself, because this is another time where you don't check another person who is hurting your wife like this. You should have stopped Ken from even mentioning anything. You should have said, wait, Ken. Didn't you just say you're not going to address anything like that because you don't know it to be true and you don't want to hurt our relationship? Okay, well, don't do that. No. I'm telling you, don't say anything. Leave it there. Because this is another moment and another time, Marsau, you do not protect Tisha. You do not defend Tisha. You're mad at her for asking information that you don't fucking clear up. You don't protect her from this information getting out. You don't debunk any of this information. Once she asks the questions, you get mad that she's asking the questions. Well, she's wondering about it. This is why she has a lot of doubt in her relationship with you. So Kimmy whispers to Maurice, can you tell your brother to stop? No, tell him to stop. Because Kimmy knows this is really affecting Tisha. Because Tisha on the opposite side of that table was hurt. She was embarrassed and hurt, and her husband did not protect her. Her husband did not make things any better. So Maurice was trying to get his brother to stop talking. He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean stop me? What do you mean stop me? Stop her. That's your sister, right? Stop her. She's begging every person to give her information. Why would she want to do that? I don't know, Marsau, because if you're frustrated with Tisha trying to get information about what's going on in her relationship, maybe you should tell her what you got going on. Because it looked to me the way you were so nervous and afraid of what was going to be revealed when Ken said what he said. You wanted to stop before Pandora's box got opened up even more. But again, it sounds to me you got a lot of shit to hide. But it's always looked like you got a lot of shit to hide. It's always been like this. This is another time where Tisha was trying to ask about the truth about what's been going on in her relationship. Marsau has always been ready to check her about asking questions. But this is the reason why she has a lot of doubt. This is the reason why she doesn't know who the fuck to believe. Because you don't tell her what she shouldn't believe. You don't protect her from the information that's affecting her. She don't know who to trust, the comment section or you. She don't know. So then, while we shut that down, which is very, very tense, because watching everybody else's facial expressions when that information got revealed, it was like shit. Then that means that this kind of information has been around for a very long time. Huntsville is small, so this kind of information didn't just happen out of nowhere. It's been talked about. So then Kimmy is now leading the conversation that we have all heard things about each other, whether y'all want to believe it or not believe it. If you want to ask me something, I'm going to be transparent right here, right now, today. That'll be the first time. You being transparent for the last few seasons, though, Kimmy. So you're going to honestly answer a question about where you are in your relationship, because you have been avoiding talking about your relationship since that conversation you and Marsau had at that rooftop dinner. Interesting. So here comes Martel saying, okay, so what is your deal breaker? So Kimmy is doing this big speech that in the beginning of her and Maurice's relationship, they talked about deal breakers, and infidelity was one of them. And she said, I'm not going to allow that. That's not going to be me. Never. I'm done with that. It's over. So now she's looking at all the other relationships that have dealt with infidelity. The demise of one marriage, meaning Martel. And we're dealing with custody battle. We're dealing with children. We're dealing with this. So I am going to believe that our marriage can withstand anything. We can make it through anything. He said, so infidelity? Yes, infidelity. I believe we can move past all that. It is so funny now that Kimmy is now in the space of accepting that if Maurice was to cheat on her, she's not going anywhere, which is no surprise to me. You've forgiven every single thing he's done to you that would have been a last straw for me. You found out that he mistreated your son on purpose. When you were going through the biggest battle of your life fighting cancer, he expected for you to lay low and spread it wide. He compared to you a fucking refrigerator that you should never lock up on him. Remember that? Remember all throughout that season, all we did was talk about you not getting wet enough for him, and you were concerned if you were not giving him the amount of sex that he was used to having with you, he was going to leave. That was your fear. I don't care what you try to say, Kimmy, that was your fear. So now you're coming to that conclusion that me and him can withstand anything. Me and him can battle through the test of time. Our marriage can withstand anything. Yeah, see, I ain't got time for that shit. Do I believe that some marriages are worth saving and you should fight for your marriage to be saved? Yes. But this ain't one of those moments for me, Kimmy. This is just your roundabout way of saying I'm not going anywhere if my husband cheats on me. Hell, if he messes up my money, if he disrespects me, I'm not going to leave. If he tells me I don't deserve a car because I don't have any hair to blow into the wind, I'm not going nowhere. So all Martel said, well, thank you for admitting that there are some things you're willing to accept and things you're not going to accept. This is also the product of what Martel wanted from Mel. He wanted Mel to reach that point of accepting that I'd rather be a wife than be alone. Because that's where Kimmy is. She'd rather be a wife than be alone. Folks don't want to start over. Folks don't want to figure life out for themselves. Folks not recognizing their worth. That's exactly what this is. And that's exactly what Kimmy just said to me right here, right now. So Martel asked Tisha the same question. What are her deal breakers? You know, she don't want to answer it, but it's the same deal breaker she has since season 1, infidelity. It flashes back to the first season when they were all, I guess, out at dinner. I don't know if that was Mel and Martel's house or someone else's house, where she said if Marsau was to cheat on her, then it will be a wrap. Well, I don't know what you're going to say now, because it's been more than 8 years since y'all been on the show, and infidelity has been the main issues you've been skirting around saying you've never dealt with. And it's reading to me you are not going to leave your husband if it did come out that he actually did cheat on you. That's what it's coming across as. Marsau does his speech about when it comes to deal breakers, you focus on not trying to break it. You focus on how to make the relationship stronger. And if you want the recipe on how to stay married for 19 years, it's not about liking your partner. It's not about wanting to wake up in the morning with your partner. It is not about not going to bed with anger. It is about the commitment. Well, you can't be in a committed relationship without love, Marsau. You should want to love the person you are entering a commitment with. Because why stay in a relationship for all these years if you're not happy? If you're not in love with the person you wanting to be with for all these years, what's the point? Because I feel like Marsau is looking at the amount of years he's been with Tisha, and that should amount for something. What does that amount to? What happiness have you had? Like, what have you been looking forward to? It sounds to me you've been in misery, and so has Tisha. I don't recall you guys ever going down about how y'all have had so many happy memories in y'all's marriage. I don't see you excited about looking forward to doing things with her. And coming from me, I have been married to my husband for exactly 10 years, and we've been together for over 12 years, and we are insanely happy. Have we had ups and downs? Absolutely. Have we had a moment of figuring out how we need to fix our relationship? Absolutely. But the good outweighs the bad. The fight that we both did to get to a better place in our relationship made it worth it. I don't see you and Tisha fighting to get to a better place in your relationship. I don't see it. So we'll ask the most amazing question ever. Are you guys happy? Because he said, I'm not going to lie. I hear the years, but I don't see happy faces. I see solemn faces. I don't see people who are excited about being with their partner. And Nell was me. She said, no, I'm happy as fuck. Like, don't put me in that shit. Don't put me in that bad area. I'm in a good place in my marriage. And I have to agree. While we saw Chris not defend Nell, I do think that Nell and Chris do have the better relationship. I do. So then, Tisha does this long statement about how it's not going to always be a space where you're happy with your spouse, or you're happy with yourself, or you're happy with your children. You're going to have your good days and bad days. You know what I'm saying? And that is a true statement. You're not going to always be 100% happy. You might be 50% happy, 80% happy, 20% happy. Yes, that is very true. There are going to be moments where you can't stand your spouse. You annoyed with your children. You are not happy where you are in your life. Absolutely. But you don't dwell on that, though. You don't dwell on it. You figure it out. Then you wake up the next day. You look for making yourself happy again. So, based off of what Tisha just said, Marsau agrees with what she said, and now he wants to have a private conversation with her to resolve and figure out a way to ask her how to buy her out the business. So, when he take her to the side, they're sitting on some chairs, and he asks her, how much would it take to buy her out the business? That question caught her off guard because she said, why would you ask me that? And he's just like, I'm just wondering. But why would you be wondering about that? Like, the way you started it off, asking that question, which doesn't make any sense, as to why you would even listen to advice from your own brother. And where Tisha's mind went, my mind went. Like, you want to talk about buying me out the company, that's pretty much telling me you want to start separating things. And when you're separating things, that means you're trying to lead to a divorce. So, yeah, she's looking at the negative side of things, because why ask her if she can get bought out of the company? And then you're asking her, what is her value of being in the company? So, asking those two questions, which caught her off guard because she did not expect for that question to be asked. He said, I need you to dismiss that thought in your mind for 1 second. I never said get a divorce. Okay, but where did that come from, though? So now you're asking her, how do you see your involvement in the company? Well, she said, I was involved in the beginning where I was helping. I was getting the company off the ground, getting to where it's been. But once you created your team, you pushed me out. So now he's going off about the fact that he feels so alone in the business as well as alone in the marriage. And then when he does operate alone in the business, he is saying how I do this by myself. I go out in the 100-degree weather by myself. I work on Father's Day by myself. And then we see a flashback when it was around maybe the second or first season that he goes to the gym by himself. He takes phone calls by himself. He travels by himself. You've done those things based on the decision you wanted to make, Marsau. You've never included her in any decisions that was to affect your lives. You've never done that. Nigga, you still went to Africa by yourself. Remember that? That was supposed to be a family vacation, and you went by yourself. You did not support your wife or help her get things together for all of y'all to go to Africa. You had to repay her with the trip a couple of years down the line. Nigga, you just came back from Italy. After she told you she wanted to take a trip to Italy for Christmas. But you took a random trip to Italy to take your son to see a concert. And when she told you about it, you dismiss it and says, well, we'll do that for our 20th. Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? I can recall the scene where she walked in and you're interviewing someone else and you took her office away from her, right in front of her. I need for someone to also remember when it came down to wondering what does she do or what can she help with the company, you told her she don't have the authority to hire or fire. All she can do is oversee the financials. There are no other recognition of Tisha helping the company other than looking over the money. You gave Tisha that title, remember? Then he goes through another time where everything he does is for the family. You know, I've already repeated the whole thing about working outside in 100-degree weather, working through Father's Day. Nigga, that's the shit you decide to do. You are an entrepreneur. You are the provider. You're supposed to work crazy days. That's what you wanted to do. What the hell are you complaining for? And then you're mad that she's reminding you, why aren't you completing your project? Because you don't do it. To say you could only tell me one time and that's it. How many times have that been? She's been telling you more than once to complete the shit you've been promising to fix, and you couldn't do it. Like you don't communicate. You don't say, "Hey, babe, I know you work. I know you wondering about your office, but I got you. I'm gonna keep you updated." You do not communicate. You do not invite her into the process. You want her to just accept it in silence, accept that you're gonna do it when you want to do it, but you're not giving her the understanding. So here he is explaining once again about how as much work I'm doing, I'm working my ass off for you, for us. You want to say, hey, babe, let's grab lunch? I can't grab lunch, but you can bring me lunch. Like he's putting so much emphasis about how much he's working for the family. And when he wanted her to bring him lunch, she said, well, I do recall bringing you lunch at the site. I have done that. But that's not a date. I've asked you to take me out on a date. He said, I don't have time, Tisha. I don't have time. I'm building your house. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. That is a whole bunch of fucking excuses, nigga. Because I just explained how you took a time to go to Italy. You took a time to go to Africa. You took a time to go to Atlanta. What you talking about? Nigga, you have to balance. Balance. You know what that word is? Balance. While you are an entrepreneur, there should still be enough time for you to provide enough quality time to spend with your wife and to spend with your children. So she was like, well, you say that you want to not feel alone in the business, but I've been alone too. So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to walk away? Because you can't buy me out of the business. So then he said, fuck it. Then she said, fuck it. So he said, I don't know why you won't just listen to me. After 2 decades of me working my ass off, why can't I just get a wife that should do everything that I tell her to do? Why can't I just have a wife that just listens to me? Why can't I have my wife understand that her husband's working his ass off to be there for her, provide for her, while she's too busy telling everybody else what they got going on in their relationship? Why? The fuck are you talking about? So he's saying, I am 100% alone. I don't have a teammate. I don't have that. I don't have that. All I want is a wife to say who loves me. I have a wife who says she loves me, but refuses to listen to me. You done, Marsau? You done? Watching you reprimand Tisha, and I see Tisha crying, breaking down, because once again, she is being scolded, fussed at by a man who she loves so much. And she is trying to do everything she can to do right, make him happy. But everything she does, you just got to find a way to just come at her for it. So she said, I don't know where we go from here. I try to be involved. I try to be there. But you're choosing to be alone. And I feel alone too. And he don't want to hear how she's been feeling alone. No, he said, I don't know why I try. I don't know why I'm talking to you, because you don't want to listen. No, you don't want to listen. This was a whole conversation. This man manipulating and gaslighting her all the way down to the fucking ground. You're too busy telling her what you feel, but look at the actions you've done to feel this way, Marsau. Look at what you've done. You want her to just accept the things you do and just not question you about it? Why would she not do that? Why would she not want to understand the way that you operate with the business that was supposed to be for all of y'all? You see what I'm saying? And this is another thing, though. I feel like he's too busy trying to correct her about how she wanted to be in business, but then she still wants to be with the kids. Ding, ding, ding. This is where I feel like you're missing the whole fucking point. Tisha, has been the only active parent that has been there for the children. You wouldn't even know what to do with your own children because you couldn't even remember your own son was allergic to peanut butter. I remember when it was down to the scene where they invited Mel to let her know what happened at the field day event. That was when your oldest son had his senior portraits photo and you didn't even know it was time for him to take his senior portraits photos. I remember when it came down to y'all living separately when you were renovating a townhome. You had a conversation with Tisha about the finances, and you'll wonder how her amount is bigger than yours because she's taking care of the kids. And when you are renovating this space, she has to remember what items the kids need to move back into the house. You didn't even remember that your own children needed new bed sets, new dressers, new clothes. You didn't even remember that. I remember the first season. You inquired about a financial advisor to wonder how much money Tisha was spending because she wasn't working. But how come she's spending so much money? It's because she's taking care of the fucking kids. She's providing the house, making sure the house is clean, the house got food, the kids got food, you got food. Like, you are literally ignoring the fact that Tisha has been there for your children since day fucking one, bro. So why you're questioning as if she don't know how to balance being a mother, a wife, and a businesswoman? Because you're not giving her the space for it. You're not respecting the fact that she is there all day, every day, being there for your children. So, of course, her time is not as available like yours is, because it's just you. Like, you've had so much freedom to get up and do what you want to do because you didn't have to worry about the kids. She had to worry about the kids. Remember, you bought yourself a car for your 44th birthday, but you couldn't buy her a work truck. You put all the time and energy and money to design the car you want to design, but you couldn't understand what she wanted. Make it make sense. So it's like, she said, this is so fucked up though. Like, why is it so fucked up? Like, this could have been a good moment, but it wasn't a good moment. It was a tense moment. Then he wanted to patronize her by walking around and says, you know what, let's just go. Let's just go. She don't want to go nowhere with you. You trying to be all sweet, rubbing soot off her face, rubbing her head. Get the fuck away from me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. This is not the time for you to tend to me like you are a loving husband when you just sat up there and told me you're alone and you've always been alone. I'm never there for you. I don't support you. Nigga, you don't support her. Now, I know there have been a lot of mixed reviews as to who really had a point in this conversation. To be honest, though, both Tisha and Marsau don't want to understand each other's feelings. They both don't want to listen. They both don't want to provide action in regarding to make the other partner feel better because they're too busy concerned about them. But I also feel like, Marsau, you have never given Tisha the proper space and opportunity to really learn how to evolve. While I said it myself, for her changing her mind about not wanting to be an entrepreneur to wanting to be an entrepreneur to go back to being a stay-at-home mom, it's because she did not know how to really handle navigating so many different hats, so many different businesses, because her own husband wasn't supporting her. Her own husband wasn't helping her guide through this. You've left her to her own devices to not learn what it's like to actually be an entrepreneur. That's where I said Tisha did not know how to really operate in a business. She just assumed if I take a picture acting like I'm in my business mode, then that means that I'm on my business mode. But I don't really know how to navigate my business. I don't really know what to do with my business. I don't know how to start a business because we get the Blueprint podcast. I ain't heard nothing from it. She only had one guest. That was her mother. What else? What's going on with her daughter's hair care business that she stole the shipping policy from Stormy? What's going on with that? Wasn't she supposed to create like a period package? What happened with that? What else does Tisha got going on? I can't remember. Yeah, we got the chocolate in the bottle. Is she overseeing that as well? I don't think she barely posts anything about Black. Like, I don't see her posting anything about what projects y'all got going on. Like, I don't see Tisha actually working to showcase how she really wants to be an entrepreneur. I don't see that because I don't think she really learned how to really be that. And she got 2 master degrees. And you mean to tell me she don't know how to start anything? She don't know how to implement anything? But when it comes to this husband of hers, she just becomes a fucking child. Don't have the cojones to stand up for herself, to defend herself. But I do appreciate her saying, I'm alone too. I've done things and you've never included me on it. And that's the truth. If it wasn't for her buying out Martel's share and getting y'all out of the red, you wouldn't have scoped. Even that was the plan, to be honest with you. Martel helped you start the business and you were supposed to buy his share out. That's it, that's all. You got this woman going to her own office, putting silly putty on the wall because you don't want to fix her damn office. You're saying it was an embarrassment to you? To say, oh, if she does her office, and that means we don't do our business. We don't complete our projects. You don't. Without her fixing her own damn office. So, while he walked away, she said, I don't want to be here anymore. Then he's giving himself a pep talk on the stairs and says, get it together, Marsau. Get it together, Marsau. And then that was pretty much the end of the episode. And we got I hear a 2-part reunion starting this weekend. I'm glad it's only 2 parts. And we better have the conversations as to what has taken place this season. I bet not see no fluff. I bet not see nobody going off on a tangent of something that doesn't make any fucking sense, on things that does not matter. Let's talk about the actual conversation and topic at hand, please. Okay? But that was pretty much the end of the episode and the end of this season. This season was too fucking long. My God. Knowing that the next season is going to have 30 episodes, which means we're going to have a, what, 12? So, what, 10 episodes, 12 episodes, the first part. Then we're going to take another useless break. Then we're going to get another 12, 13 episode after that. Oh, God. Either way. I have no idea what to say to this, y'all, because I know I went off longer than I wanted to. It's because there's just so much that needs to be dissected into this conversation. This conversation was so hard to watch. Very hard to watch. Because it's kind of like, Marsau, you need to take responsibility and accountability as to how you got into this space with your own wife. I'm sorry, not sorry. Like, it's just, ugh. I don't know what to say to this, but y'all, that's all I have. Please stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.